Hari Om, Bhagavad Gita, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, Chapter 18, Introduction. Mukam karodi vachalam, pangum langayade girim, yatkriva tamaham vande, paramananda madhavam. Hare Krishna, the Lord of Wealth, Lakshmi Mata. Your grace makes the mute eloquent. The one who has no one who cannot speak, words fall from his mouth like a Niagara Falls, comes out automatically. The lame scales mountain tops. One who has no legs, he can climb Everest easily without even props or somebody carrying him. He will climb. It is difficult even for the people who have legs. With Bhagwan's grace, what cannot be done? I think it is proved in my case. I don't know about others. It is not boasting about myself. I feel that is a grace of Bhagavan Krishna. Otherwise, how can a filtered idiot like me, a total tamasic person like me, can read one verse of Bhagavad Gita daily and understand at least as much as possible the highest philosophy and psychology? How is this possible? A filtered idiot who cannot understand normal English. How can I understand this? Impossible without the grace of Bhagavan Krishna. How the acharyas, they reached my home in the form of books to teach me. How did they come? What made them come to my home? In the form of books. But I don't treat them as books. I feel the presence of acharyas. So I think it is 100% Bhagavan's grace which made me read Bhagavad Gita daily one verse. It is my internal feeling. That is what I am expressing. Mukam karodi vachalam pangum langayade girim. So the final ascent, the final chapter also, with Bhagavan's grace, I am starting. I am trying to understand. Swami Dayananda Saraswati quotes Adi Shankara in his introduction, who says, Bhagavan Krishna is summing up the meaning of the whole Gita Shastra in this chapter. For this, the meaning of the Vedas, it has to be told. Only for this purpose, this chapter is given by Bhagavan Krishna. The subject matter of Vedas and the subject matter of Gita Shastra is twofold, namely Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Whenever we complete Bhagavad Gita, every chapter, we say this Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya is understanding the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, which reveals the identity of the Jiva with the Ishvara. Yoga Shastra means preparing the individual for Brahma Vidya. That is Yoga Shastra. There are two types of lifestyles. From the beginning, we are seeing this. Bhagavan is saying there are two types of lifestyles. One is life of karma, that is action. Arjuna. Arjuna is leading a life of karma. Second lifestyle is sannyasa, a life of renunciation. Bhagavan explains both in this chapter, and one has to be first a karma yogi before becoming a sannyasi. Arjuna wanted to immediately become a sannyasi overnight. I want to become a sannyasi. No, no, I don't like my job. Even today, I am also feeling. Today, I want to leave this house and become a sannyasi. Bhagavan says, impossible. Impossible. First, you must lead a karma, life of karma, action. Then become a karma yogi. First important thing. Then become a sannyasi. Otherwise, it is not possible. Swami Dayananda Saraswati beautifully captures the entire previous chapters, 1 to 17. Before entering this chapter, even though I enjoyed that, I am not going to give it here for the sake of brevity. So I'm not giving those entire things, but he has beautifully captured it. According to Swami Chinmayananda, this closing chapter of the Gita is in fact a summary of the entire song of Bhagavan Krishna. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is an introduction to Gita, what is going to come. What are the things Bhagavan Krishna is going to say? That is an introduction. 18th chapter is summing up of Gita. Every speaker, whenever whoever wants to give you a speech, that is why I said Bhagavad Gita cannot be read like a philosophy book and then read it and throw it. Everything has to be understood in context. If you want to give a speech, you have to say what are the things which I am going to talk. After you finish your speech, you must conclude what are the things I said, so that that gets into the mind of the person who is listening to it, or if it is a book, the person who is reading that book. Bhagavan Krishna gives that technique. Second chapter, he gave what are the things I am going to say. 18th chapter is again saying what are the things I said, important things, so that it gets into the mind of all of us, the seekers, the students. The theme of Bhagavad Gita, in one line, if it can be put, it is one eternal spirit, functions through the matter, and it, that eternal spirit, expresses itself in this pluralistic world. One sun's rays appearing as Vibgr. Simply put, the entire world is nothing but Bhagavan Krishna. In one line, if I can say about Bhagavad Gita, that is the crux of Gita. If one eternal spirit is playing through all the matters, then what is the reason in variation of behavior between individual to individual? Each individual thinks differently, behaves differently. Why? The variation in the behavior is due to the three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas, different proportions in each individual. In this chapter, Bhagavan explains how these three in variations create differences among individuals in sacrifice, in actions, in fortitude, and in happiness. So Bhagavan explains everything. Bhagavan also insists that spiritual awakening cannot happen with life of intelligences. It calls for self control, self mastery. Further, in Gita, Bhagavan used these two important terms, sannyasa, that is renunciation, and tyaga, that is giving up or abandonment. Very often, Bhagavan used these two terms with seemingly different meanings. Seemingly different meanings. That word seemingly is important. Bhagavan is not confused, he is clear. But the students, when we understand, there is a possibility that there could be some confusion. So Bhagavan removes those confusions about Tyaga and Sannyasa in the chapter, in this chapter. That alone is Tyaga or abandonment, which uplifts us into the higher reaches of joy through nobler ways of living. You have to lead a noble life. Then only you can enjoy the fullest of joy. Nyasam means Giving up. Swami Chinmayananda says this. Nyasam means giving up. Sannyasam means totally giving up. Totally giving up your ego is sannyasa. Tyaga is giving up your unnecessary anxiety for the fruits of actions. Bhagavan Krishna says, without giving up your anxiety over the fruits of actions, sannyasa, that is renunciation of your ego, is impossible. Forget about it. That is why Swami Dayananda Saraswati also said, Swami Chinmayananda also says, first you must be a karma yogi before becoming a sannyasi. Swami Chinmayananda says, even though Adi Shankara popularized sannyasa from 8th century onwards, there is a misconception about sannyasa. It is largely understood to indicate unshaven people. That is, you grow your beard, you shave your head, you put different color robes, have Rudraksha mala or other malas, have a kamandal. All these things you have with you. But that is not sannyasa. And you lead a secluded life. You go to some place. Swami Chinmayananda says it is not sannyasa. That is an external showing off. That is also important. I am not saying it is unimportant. But the internal change, without that internal change, if you wear those things, I'm sorry, you are spoiling yourself. That is what I think Swami Chinmayananda is saying. Internal change is a must. Self mastery is a must before you take up those robes or Rudrakshamala, etc. This concluding chapter opens up with a direct question from Arjuna. What constitutes renunciation and what is abandonment? Bhagavan Krishna explains the same in detail. Bhagavan explains how through Tyaga alone sannyasa can be achieved. Swami Chinmayananda says, unless one lives in this world with a spirit of healthy and intelligent detachment, that is Tyaga. Healthy and intelligent detachment, the total withering away of ego and its endless desire promptings, that is sannyasa, it can never be achieved. So I repeat, unless one lives an intelligent life of detachment from the world of things and beings, sannyasa, that is erasing your ego, is impossible. Sannyasa, without the spirit of Tyaga, it is an empty show. It is a false crown with no kingdom of joy. There are so many pointers. Swami Chinmayananda says, in this chapter, there are so many pointers that are given to understand yourself. Your moment to moment, you can understand yourself. They are like the dashboard of your car, giving internal conditions of the car. When you start the car, you have to see whether everything is. Nowadays, there is a sound also coming. If you don't put a seat belt, quing, 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 sound is coming. That means you are not. You immediately correct yourself. Or if there is a oil lamp is there, then oil is not working. Or service is due. That is also coming. Similarly, Bhagavan gives the pointers about yourself in this chapter. One has to regularly check himself. If the indications are sattvic, then it leads to definite progress. 100% progress in the spiritual world. If it is rajasic or tamasic, then giving up the lower impulses is abandonment, which will give mastery over ourselves. This will help us in erasing the ego to identify ourselves with the infinite, that is Bhagavan Krishna. That is this chapter. This is what Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Swami Chinmayananda says. With the Guru's blessings, we will move into the chapter. We will get into this chapter. We will immerse ourselves into this chapter. Verse 1, we'll see tomorrow. Arihom Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana